that have been involved with this work: Dr. Leticia Gallo Santana, Dr. Julia Ojarnaz Castillo, Mr. Nicolas Cartagena Romero, Dr. Alicia Barriga Burgos, and Dr. Alwin Jimenez Maldonado. So thank you for being part of this committee and making this study possible. So this study consists of analyzing current challenges among organic producers here in Puerto Rico, looking at their motivations and their perspectives about the USDA organic certification. Why are we conducting this study? Well, we're hoping to improve farm viability, hoping to meet increasing organic demand on the consumer end, which we'll delve into a little bit more detail on the consumer demand of organic products, and to better understand current challenges among organic producers or aspiring or transitioning organic producers and opportunities. So moving on, just to share a bit about myself, so you all can get to know me a little bit better. Originally from Ohio. My own experience with agriculture is more familial, more than anything. My dad's family operates a small family farm in Northeast Ohio, which is my initial relationship and connection with agriculture. I have 2 undergraduate degrees from Xavier University in Cincinnati, Ohio, as well as a master's in public affairs. Currently a candidate for an MS in agricultural economics from the University of Puerto Rico, Mayagüez, and will soon be beginning a doctoral program in business administration at the University of Puerto Rico, Rio Piedras, a program I was just accepted into. Outside of academia, I'm the founder and executive director for the Monte Azul Foundation since 2018, and have been working in the region, mostly in the Caribbean and Dominican Republic, and in some Central American countries as well, mostly in this area of sustainable agriculture, rural development, and food systems. So just to share a bit about the context of this study and the research questions and objectives that we hope to accomplish. The 2 main research questions are: what knowledge gaps and logistical barriers do Puerto Rican producers face regarding USDA organic certification and certified processing? The second research question is: do USDA organic certified Puerto Rican products have greater market potential in mainland US markets compared to local markets? So that's kind of a secondary research question that we want to delve into through this study as well. In terms of objectives, we're looking at assessing the knowledge gaps among Puerto Rican producers of the USDA certification process and the knowledge gaps in market. Second would be assessing both local and US markets for current and potential Puerto Rican organic certified goods. And thirdly, assessing the availability of organic certified products at supermarkets and at farmers markets throughout the island. So first, let's look a little bit about previous studies that have been done in this area. There has been some significant work in the last 20 years on organic growers on the island. However, the last 2 surveys and studies of organic growers has been now 15 and 20 years ago now. So a lot has changed since 2010, which is when Solano last did a survey of organic growers. But we'll be looking at the demographic data of organic growers here and comparing that to the organic growers back in 2005, 2010 to see if maybe there are new organic growers that have entered the markets or whether it's really been the same organic growers that have stayed in the program for 15 years. Also, there's been some parallel work done on market analysis of the effects of Puerto Rican supermarkets, the availability of produce, economic viability of organic farming. Lots of studies done looking at global perspectives. They're looking at specific markets, usually much larger markets, countries that are in the region, not necessarily Puerto Rico. Also, studies done on the Puerto Rican agricultural markets and the increasing interest in farmers markets on the island. And really, we can sum up those the levels of the areas in which these studies have been done into four areas: farm level data, the supply chain and access market availability and the supplier capacity to supply markets. So I thought it'd be helpful, if we go on to the next slide, to look at a brief history of the National Organic Program. The National Organic Program started as a piece of legislation in 1990 with the passage of the Farm Bill that year and what was called the Organic Food Production Act. That was when the National Organic Standards Board, which is an advisory board to the USDA on organic practices and regulations, was created. And really over that decade, from 1990 to 2000, the USDA began the process of creating the rules and regulations around organic products, what type of products would be allowed on farm to be used, and which ones would be prohibited, and the different processes of whether you're producing a crop or handling organic products. And in 2000, that was when the final rules and regulations were published for the National Organic Program. And in 2002, the regulations began to take effect. And so we get to see kind of what the market implications of that in the next slide. So let's look a little bit in terms of the consumer demand side for organic certified products. You can see that there was explosive growth from 2002 to 2023. In 2002, when the regulations went into place, you have over $8 billion of sales in the United States of organic certified products. That grows substantially by 2023 to over $67 billion in organic certified sales. And what are some of these key drivers of growth? This is, where we wanted to look at what's driving this increase in demand for organic certified products. Consumers certainly being more concerned about health and wellness, concerns about the usage of pesticides, GMO, and animal welfare. So consumers are asking more questions than they did previously. Expansion of USDA certified organic products into conventional grocery channels, including big box retailers like Target, Costco, and Walmart. So there's greater availability than ever for USDA certified organic products. You also see the expansion of the certification into packaged goods, beverages, dairy, meat, even textile personal care products. And then you also see a level of government support for certification infrastructure. So in developing markets, trying to address gaps for market access for producers into the organic markets. So we'll continue to look at the market in the next slide. So over 90% of organic sales are packaged in fresh food, especially fruits and vegetables. Organic now accounts for over 6% of total U.S. food sales. In terms of that consumer profile, a lot of younger consumers and higher income individuals and households are primary drivers of this increase in the organic category. Sales of non-organic, non-food products like textiles and personal care are also increasing. And then an interesting data point that I found was that there is a net import of organic certified products. So you see that the U.S. market is importing more than exporting organic products from a lot of markets in Latin America in particular that are able to address seasonality issues in produce and have really captured a large part of those sales as well. So let's look at who are some of these organic certified producers. In 2002, when the National Organic Program regulations went into effect, there were around 5,000, 6,000 certified producers. You see a huge amount of increase and really a peak, right leading up to the pandemic with about 21,000 producers. Certainly the pandemic created some issues with getting reliable reporting. So it is possible that some of those producers did not renew their certification during or after the pandemic. And there are a number of kind of hotspots for certified organic producers throughout the mainland U.S., including California, Wisconsin, New York, and Pennsylvania, that each have over 1,000 certified producers each. So, and part of the study is we're trying to get an understanding of who and why people are interested in the USDA certified organic, interested in the certification process here in Puerto Rico. So I found this study completed by the USDA looked at organic profit margins that are typically higher than conventional ag margins, and that typically offset lower yields or higher labor costs. And some of the interesting things that I found in this study was that there's typically a difference in educational attainment between organic certified producers and conventional producers, that organic certified producers would have a higher level of educational attainment. And we'll look at some of the data in this study as well and how that holds up to conventional producers on the island as a whole. Progress to be made for greater diversity, overwhelmingly over 90%, both for organic certified and conventional producers identify as white. So there's a lot of ground that needs to be covered in terms of promoting more diverse producers. Organic farms tend to be smaller than conventional farms, and organic producers tend to be younger than conventional growers. We're going to look at that data specifically for this market as well, which I found particularly insightful. So now we're going to delve into the state of agriculture here in Puerto Rico. Our average age of a Puerto Rican farmer here is 60.8 years old. Certainly since 2000, there have been a number of both economic and climate-related challenges here that have led to a 59% reduction in the number of farmers since 2000. And we also have experienced a loss of rural population since 2000. So our access to seasonal labor is a significant challenge among producers. I certainly hear that from many producers as one of their main barriers for growth. Really how the island was set up, economically speaking, was around export-oriented products and rapid expansion of industrial parks and an economic policy that highly favored manufacturing over agriculture, and that starting in the 1950s really left agriculture at a disadvantage to be able to develop infrastructure that would support agriculture in the long term. So we're really trying to play catch up in terms of how we support local producers. So we're struggling with a rapidly aging farming population, limited access to migrant labor, and climate challenges with hurricanes and other extreme weather events that we've experienced just here in the last few years. In terms of our availability of local food, 85% of the food here is imported. Food prices are twice that of those in Florida. And our GDP per capita is just over 20,000. So just to give some context in terms of the socioeconomic conditions that the island faces here. And agriculture, the industry as a whole, represents 1% of the island's GDP and 1% of employment. So now we're going to delve into our farm profiles. Our average farm size here is 63 acres. According to the USDA census data, significantly smaller than throughout the mainland US, which is an average of 463 acres. So we're dealing on a completely different scale. Our main crops here that traditionally have solid market access and have experienced a lot of local consumer demand are plantains, pineapple, papaya, and the dairy industry. Traditionally, there's a concentration of larger scale farms along the southern coast, with dairy being very strong, having a strong presence in the North Coast area. And of course, since 2017, there's been a growing interest really as a response to the $1 billion of agricultural damage caused by Hurricanes Irma and Maria, a growing interest in addressing food insecurity, a surprising interest in the development of what I call hobby farms and crop diversification as well, really to hedge against the increasing risks from climate-related challenges locally. And in terms of how many farms are certified organic locally, there are 6 active organic crop certification licenses to local farms. Many of them actually held by the University of Puerto Rico at different experimental stations. And there are 5 organic handling licenses that are active on the island. And I also wanted to add some data points here based on a survey that Monte Azul Foundation does as a part of our Academy of Sustainable Agriculture Innovation. This is really a farmer training program, but anyone who's interested in agriculture can take this course. It's free of charge. And as a part of that, they fill out this extensive survey so we get a chance to understand why they're interested in learning about agriculture and their previous levels of experience. So I kind of wanted to add this here to kind of enrich the conversation a bit. But the average age of participants in Monte Azul's program is actually 42.5. So this is much lower, much younger than the average age of a Puerto Rican farmer. In terms of that age range of those that are participating in Monte Azul's programs, as young as 18 up to 72 years of age are participating in this program, with an average farm size of 15 acres. So obviously much smaller than the average farm size for the island as a whole, and 42.3% female participation as well in our programs, which is significantly higher than the number of female farm operators on the island, which is just around 12%. And this, in terms of geographic diversity, we've had 75 of the 78 municipalities represented in our programs, and over 350 participants that have completed the survey. So let's look at how this compares to the island as a whole, and how it compares to those that filled out the survey for this specific study. So this survey is a mixed method survey that's combining quantitative and qualitative questions. There's 24 questions. The survey is anonymous. We do ask some demographic information. There are some questions on the perceptions of the USDA certification, questions about farm profiles and their market access. This study received IRB approval in December of last year, and the sample size is set at 50 with 19 responses so far. There are planned visits to 5 farmers markets during the summer, namely the farmers markets, the largest ones on the island, 2 in the western area in the town of Rincon and Aguadilla, 1 in the eastern region in Humacao, and 2 in the San Juan metropolitan area. In terms of data analysis, this data is going to be aggregated and analyzed with the STATA software, which I'll be doing some economic regression analysis to assess any potential relationships between the knowledge gaps, demographic factors, and beliefs and perceptions about USDA organic certification. An example would be, do younger farmers have a more knowledge about the USDA organic certification? These results will be compared to the latest USDA agricultural census here from 2022, and the qualitative data from the open-ended questions are going to be coded thematically to capture nuanced insights that the quantitative analysis may not take into account. So that will help us in terms of interpreting these results and providing some more context into how these producers are thinking and approaching the subject of the organic certification. So let's look at some of our preliminary results. I mentioned that 19 folks have filled out this survey so far. It takes an average of a little under 7 minutes to complete the study. So that's important because I don't want to take a lot of time away from producers. We know they're busy, and they're doing what they love, which is farming. And so in addition to that, 15 municipalities are represented. So there's a decent amount of geographic diversity represented in this initial 19 respondents. There is an average of about 26 acres available for these farmers and 17% in production. This is an important question for me to include in the study because oftentimes it's cited that one of the major barriers to growing the agricultural sector locally is access to land, which is an issue for some growers. But actually here what this data is telling us is that there are other barriers to scale than access to land. In fact, growers typically have access to much more land than they're actually farming. So there are other reasons that we need to be looking into and addressing as to barriers to scale their production. In addition, there are diverse reasons for interest in certification. Another common thought is that USDA organic certification is market related, that perhaps producers would be mostly motivated because they have a sense of an increase in sales or an increase in access to certain markets would be the primary factor for them to seek out the certification. But what was interesting from this group of respondents is that that is not always the case. For some of them, that is the case, but not all of them. So we'll look at the data here. We're going to delve into some of these questions that I asked in the survey and look at some of these results. So let's look at the first one that I'm going to present here is the age range of our survey participants. I mentioned there were 19 of them. You can see that this skews much younger. I mentioned that the Monte Azul participants are around 45 years of age average, and this tends to also track with those that filled out this survey, with the largest group represented here, 30 to 39 years and 40 to 49 years of age. We'll continue on to the next one here. This question asks, what's their highest level of educational attainment? I'm interested in comparing this to agricultural census data and seeing if organic producers or those that are interested in organic producers tend to have higher levels of education. You can see that the greatest group represented here has a 4-year degree, which is that does seem to be consistent with information presented in the mainland U.S. about organic producers. Next question asks, how many years of experience do they have in the agricultural industry? So what I like to know here, right, is are these organic producers seasoned growers? Are they new entrants into the marketplace? Are they beginning farmers? So you can see that there's a little bit of representation from 3 different groups, some very new and beginning farmers, some that have a few years under their belt, and those that are seasoned farmers. So I'm going to be interested to see how this changes as we hit our mark of 50 producers to fill out this survey. Next question asks here, have you always been an organic producer? And it's about a 50-50 split, which is pretty insightful here. So there are some that have been organic from the beginning, and some that, for whatever reasons they mentioned later on in the survey, have decided to transition to organic production. So in terms of, hopefully making recommendations for perhaps some public policy at some point to help support transitioning growers here in Puerto Rico, or to build a more robust network of organic certified producers, we may want to target both new growers and those that are conventional and might consider transitioning to organic production as well. Next question asks, which markets do they currently sell their products? So they're encouraged here to mark all that apply. So what I'm interested in looking at here is where are the producers selling their products? So where are some potential distribution channels that could be enhanced with organic production? Not surprising here, the organic markets, the organic farmers markets are one of the largest distribution channels. A surprising amount sell to distributors as well. You see direct sales to restaurants. You see the supermarket distribution channel as one of the least popular places for farmers to sell their organic producers or aspiring organic producers to sell their products. So this is also some interesting data we'll be using to analyze a little bit further later on. Next question asks, what percentage of your products do you sell directly to the consumer? Not surprisingly here, the majority of them sell over 75% of their production directly to the consumer, perhaps because they're able to get a higher premium for their product and help improve farm viability in the long term. But certainly something we can delve into a little bit more in the data analysis. The next question is an important question for me as well. It asks if agriculture is their main source of income. What we've certainly seen in the United States over the last 10, 20 years is that farmers, especially smaller farmers, are becoming more reliant on off-farm income. That is what we're seeing here with this initial group. Majority of them are not relying on their farm as a principal form of income. That could be good and that could be bad in certain ways. I would actually argue that perhaps that creates more resilient farms because of the risk associated with farming here, with the constant threat of hurricanes or drought, extreme weather events of all different kinds. Having off-farm income could help stabilize small farm operations to ensure that they're able to survive through difficult periods, whether economic periods or climate-related challenges. So this is something I definitely am interested in delving more into, and as we get closer to completing this thesis and analyzing this data among the larger sample size. This question asks if they're actually certified as an organic producer. Currently, only one of the respondents is certified as organic. So I'm hoping to get a little bit more participation, even though there are only a few on the island that are certified, get at least one or two more respondents that are currently certified organic. This question asks if they're interested in certifying as an organic producer. You can see there is a high level of interest among these producers to certify as organic. So we'll look at the next question, which asks what products would they be interested in certifying as organic? There are two licenses available for the organic certification, the crop and the handling license. And so let's look at, this question looks at the different product categories and see what the level of interest is, with certainly fruit and veg and fresh greens being the most popular categories. And this is true. This is pretty consistent actually with survey data from 2005 and 2010 on organic producers. And they mostly sell those product categories to the local market. That's where they're able to achieve a higher premium for their product, and they're able to be a little bit more viable as a small farming enterprise. But you see that there is actually interest in other categories like meat, for example. There are no USDA certified meat processors on the island, but you can see that some people are interested here in other product categories like value-added products, which would be this the green bar that has 7 respondents marked value-added products, as well as even eggs. So looking at the next question, I included 2 data points here. What their level of, how they would rate their level of knowledge about the USDA certified organic, the organic certification. This is a Likert scale question where they mark 1 as little knowledge and 5 as a lot of knowledge. And the majority saying that they have little knowledge about the USDA organic certification. So this is telling us, there is some knowledge gaps that could be addressed with the producers. And the other question here is, what is their main motivation for obtaining the USDA organic certification? A lot of different answers here. I mentioned that perhaps one might think or assume at the beginning that better market access would be the primary factor. You can see that 10 did respond that they want to improve their market access within Puerto Rico. You also see 7 respondents saying they want to improve their access really in export markets. So we could interpret that as the mainland US. At 9 also marked health reasons and environmental reasons, and that's pretty significant there, that many are interested or have marked health reasons and environmental reasons as their primary motivation, or personal conviction as well. So you can there is kind of almost a 50-50 split in terms of interest in improving your markets and for more personal reasons, be it health, be it environment, or their own personal conviction to seek out the certification. So this is something we're going to delve more into as well as we get more respondents. This question here asks if they've had any obstacles in the certification process. What are their main challenges that they currently are having that would impede the certification process? Most mark here that they don't have the economic resources to cover the costs of organic certification. But within that, there are some other answers here. They don't have the proper farm records and documents and permits that they really their level of organization, farm level organization, or they haven't had access to more orientation about what the certification process entails. 8 people marked that. You have 7 that say they don't have enough information about the benefits of the program. So this is also an important question in terms of developing any potential public policy recommendations for improving, addressing knowledge gaps locally for the organic certification. Kind of as a follow-up to this question, we asked in the survey, how much would they be willing to invest in the certification process as an initial kind of lump sum investment? Many of them clearly are encountering economic challenges and would be unwilling to invest any money into it. Some obviously have marked, less than $1,000, wow, between $1,000 and $2,500 that they'd be willing to invest in the USDA certified organic process. And even with one grower willing to invest somewhere between $2,500 and $5,000 in the organic certification process. So we'll see how this changes depending on, more respondents to the survey as well. But certainly some helpful insights understanding the economic challenges that producers are facing here on the ground. Kind of following that same logic, this question asks about if there were any government incentives or private sector incentives to help cover the costs of certification, would they be interested in certifying their farm as organic? And overwhelmingly, 79% are responding yes. So that would be perhaps a good economic nudge for producers to consider making the step towards certifying their farm as organic. So this question asks whether they consider that they are practicing organic agriculture even though they're not certified. So there's kind of this, this is something that I've heard, many other people have heard among producers locally, that they claim to practice organic agriculture even though they don't have the certification. So that's kind of why we included this question here, and we give a little bit of rationale. You're not using herbicides and you're practicing agroecological methods. How many of them are saying that they do follow this process? Whether that's true or not on their farm, obviously it's very difficult to tell, but 95% are saying that they do follow this process even though they're not certified. So that might, there's kind of a whole string of questions that we could develop further to really understand what are the methods that producers are using on their farms. So would they be eligible to be certified in the future? But interesting nonetheless. So we're nearing the end here. This is the last question I wanted to share with you all, that these results from the survey. This question asks the producer if they would consider that the organic certification would improve their access to markets, or would it increase consumer confidence? 58% mark yes, 26% mark I'm not sure. Some say that it wouldn't. So this is just trying to understand the perceptions of the value of the certification locally. So that's something that we're going to be paying close attention to as well in the future. So in terms of kind of how we analyze this data that I presented to you today, you can kind of create 2 different categories in terms of its interpretation. We have barriers to organic certification. That would include producer awareness and outreach. That producers, many of them based on these results, need more information about the program and its benefits. There are no local certifying agents currently on the islands, so that is an infrastructural challenge for producers to have quick and easy access to a local certifying agent. There's a lack of government level incentives at the Puerto Rican government level. The Puerto Rican Department of Agriculture doesn't have any current incentives to promote organic certification or the transition period. And there's also, other certifications that have come onto the market in the last few years that could create consumer confusion. And so that, even though we don't ask any questions directly in the survey about it, that is something that has happened in the marketplace. And so that we could see the implications of that in the way that producers are responding to some of these questions. Opportunities, right? There's increased tourism and consumer demand. The tourism industry locally has really boomed since the pandemic. And so you have a lot of tourists that are coming in and want to support local producers and local organic producers. And so that creates inherently a new market for producers to be able to obtain organic premiums, as well as export opportunities, right? I mentioned that, this island economically was set up as an export-oriented economy. And so there are some farms, for example, in the south of the island that have a very lucrative export agricultural business. And so there are opportunities to be able to tap into mainland U.S. markets for organic certified products that perhaps wouldn't be valued as much locally in this market, but would be then valued more in the mainland U.S. And you kind of see, based on some of these results, it confirms that there's this emergence of smaller, diversified farms with younger producers, newer producers, higher levels of educational attainment among these producers. That also creates an opportunity for certifying agents, institutions that want to support more organic producers, to be able to help them along in this process for certification. And about half are dependent on off-farm income. That's an increasing reality for many producers here on the ground. The other kind of category we can lump our results into would be barriers to market access. There are some infrastructural challenges for value-added products. Many of our producers mark that they're interested in creating value-added products, or they're interested in the meat category or the egg category. These are areas that previously there really haven't been a lot of local organic producers that have excelled in those categories. For example, in the meat category, there isn't a local USDA organic meat processor. So there are some infrastructural challenges to creating those organic certified value-added products. And marketing and local consumer awareness. So that's, creating the market conditions locally so that their local consumers see the value of the certification. They're willing to pay a premium for that certification. And then the farmers are able to obviously receive more economic benefit from the organic certification. And another thing that I've heard from many producers is that the organic only markets are limited. They're only there are very few markets are available strictly for organic or agroecological producers, and so with that is a common issue for many of these producers. They want to see more market access for these, more preference in the marketplace for these organic products. With that, I just share some bibliography here of different cited sources for the data that I presented today. And with that, I just want to open it up to Q&A. I'd love to hear your perspectives on these results so far, and perhaps how, even with our friends here from Florida Organic Growers that are participating, how that is similar or dissimilar to what they've seen in other areas, whether in the Southeast U.S. or other markets throughout the world.
Okay, any questions? Okay, any questions? You can, everybody has access to the microphone, so go ahead and raise your hand so we have some order, and you can have you can ask Andrew any questions. Okay, Connie, open up your mic and go ahead.
So Andrew, on the question of whether they'd be willing to spend money on organic certification or not, and you got a really high response that they didn't want to spend any money, do you have any sense of why that might be?
Yeah, I appreciate that that question. I think there are a number of factors at play here. I think many of these producers that tend to be small scale producers are cash strapped, perhaps, and they might have other financial priorities on their farm, like making an investment in like a hoop house or something, some sort of season extender that might make the top of the priority list and be a little bit ahead of investing in certification. So I think that's probably part of it. The other part is maybe that they aren't hearing from their current customers that they want the organic certification, and perhaps the methods that they're using now is justification enough for them to continue to sell their consumers. So part of it, I think, is maybe a market issue, and the other half would be, producer level. They're not enough financial stability and organization of their own documents and processes to be able to stay compliant, essentially.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay, Stephanie.
Hi, yes, good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great, yes. So I'm calling in regards to the U.S. Virgin Islands. That's where I'm farming. I'm a beginning farmer there. And I inquired about the organic farming, and from people that I spoke with, other farmers, the issue that you mentioned, those barriers of not having anyone locally that can certify and having to pay. In addition to paying the fees for it, you have to pay for someone to come to the island, certify you. And that just isn't we don't have that kind of income coming in to do that. So are there any talks about bringing someone local between Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, US Virgin Islands to support this work, or maybe even not having to pay for them to come, but at least having some way they can come without the farmers having to pay the cost of bringing someone to their farm?
Maybe I can address that one a little bit. I'm Julia. We are in the beginning some talks with the Department of Agriculture here in Puerto Rico to try to we are trying to create, trying to educate, maybe that's the correct word, and have a few of our agronomists here in the department and in the University of Puerto Rico, have them get the certification to become a agent, so they can actually certify people here or farms here in Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. It's still in the beginning. It's still a proposal. The Department of Agriculture is going to be submitting it. It also includes financial help for the farmers who are interested in becoming certified. But like I said, it's in the beginning. So we are actually taking steps trying to help our farmers. But as soon as we have the complete information and as soon as we have an approval, we will get in touch with the farmers and let you know what will be the next steps.
Okay. So then you'll be contacting the Department of Agriculture for the Virgin Islands as well, you're saying?
Yes. Probably
will
be through the University of Virgin Islands, but yes, we will make the contact.
That's good to know. Thank you.
More questions? So, Andrew, do you have any additional comments before we close?
Well, I have another question since
okay.
this is Stephanie. Yeah. So in terms of is there any way, is anyone beginning classes for those of us who want to even begin thinking about organic farming? Is there something that, we can attend, webinars that we could have access to that help us get started with organic farming?
Well, we have been trying to initiate. I mean, this was one of the webinars, just one of them. All of the webinars that we have been publishing or that we have been promoting here with the project with the Florida Organic Growers and Southeastern Transition to Organic Partnership Program, they're all in the what is the name of the site, Kendra? I'm sorry.
Yes, thank you, Julia. So we have the organictransition.org website. I'll put the link in the chat. So that website does have a number of resources and webinars that you can use and browse. Of course, we are very happy that through top funding, we're able to offer free technical assistance. And we also have a farmer-to-farmer mentorship program that is open to anyone in the Southeast region, in our region. So if you are ready for mentorship, if you are interested in you have a farm currently and you're interested in transitioning those practices or getting certified, information about that mentorship program is also on the website. But if you're not quite ready to participate in a mentorship program, we can still provide free technical assistance. So University of Puerto Rico, we're working very closely in hosting events and being able to provide that direct technical assistance. But if you do have any questions at all, I'll also add our website, so the sctop@foginfo.org. We can also answer any kind of technical questions you might have.
Okay, and you can put the name of the link to the organization about organic. They might have class webinars or resources there. What was it called?
Yes, so the website is www.organictransition.org. It's the main website for the Transition to Organic Partnership Program. And I'll also put the email for us at Florida Organic Growers too. If you needed any assistance, we're happy to help connect you to that.
That would be great. Thank you.
And also in the Virgin Islands, you have the Virgin Islands Farmers Alliance that is also a partner with the SEETOPP partnership program.
Okay, thank you. I just started, so yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, then. So, Andrew, any other additional comments or information that you'd like to relay to our listeners?
No, I just, thank you for your participation and your time today. There'll be more information I'll be preparing as a part of this project, some additional outreach materials, and hopefully, actually, my formal thesis at some point that near the end of the year here that anybody can have access to. And if you're interested in this information I presented today, please feel free to reach out. My email was in the PowerPoint, but again, it's just andrew.herman with 2 N's at upr.edu is my email. And feel free to reach out with any further questions about this study or feedback in general on ways to improve it.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for
Can you
everyone.
put that email in the chat, please? That email in the chat is possible. Thanks.
In the chat. Can you access your chat, Andrew, or should I include it?
Would you mind including it? For some reason, I can't seem to add it in here.
It will be Andrew.Herman. Just your first name and last name, right? No numbers?
That's exactly right.
Okay.
That's right. Yep. That's it.
Okay. Okay, well, thank you very much. And please stay connected to us. And as soon as we have a new webinar, which I hope it will be soon, we will let you know so you can join us again. Thank you all. Have a good day.
Thank you very much. Have a great
Thank
day.
you.